Look around you right now. Every building, every bridge, every sidewalk you see represents a slice of one of the planet's most silent and trillion-dollar empires. Concrete isn't just construction material, it's the foundation of an economy that moves more than $2 trillion annually, surpassing the GDP of countries like Canada or Russia. Here's something that will blow your mind. Every second that passes, enough tons of concrete are produced to build entire houses. We're talking about an industry that consumes more natural resources than any other human activity, generating fortunes you never imagined existed. But the real secret is hidden in astronomical numbers. While you see concrete as simple gray mass, each cubic meter represents a complex economic chain where raw materials costing dollars transform into structures worth millions. From limestone extraction moving billions to megacorporations billing hundreds of billions annually. Prepare to discover how stones and sand became the foundation of modern capitalism, how industrial giants built trillion-dollar empires literally from dust, and why investors consider concrete more valuable than gold in terms of business volume. Welcome to the hidden universe where every grain of cement is worth fortunes. The transformation of concrete from simple stone mixture into a trillion-dollar empire began with the Romans, but the real financial explosion happened when industrialization transformed construction into a wealth-generating machine unprecedented in human history. For millennia, construction was artisanal and limited. But when Portland cement was patented, an industry was born that would forever change the world economy. The first cement factories moved the equivalent of millions of current dollars, establishing foundations for industrial empires that persist through centuries. The true economic revolution of concrete occurred during post-World War reconstruction. Entire countries needed rebuilding, creating unprecedented demand. Visionary companies transformed this necessity into fortunes equivalent to billions of current dollars. A single cement company could generate annual revenues rivaling entire industries. Massive 20th-century urbanization multiplied profits exponentially. Specialized companies began moving tens of billions building entire cities. The concrete market exploded when world populations migrated to urban centers. Each new skyscraper represented millions in concrete consumed. Today, entire nations depend economically on the concrete industry. Countries like China consume more concrete in 3 years than the United States consumed in the entire 20th century. Corporations like LafargeHolcim bill more than $26 billion annually, proving that mixed stones can be worth more than advanced technologies. The concrete universe is a sophisticated economic machine that transforms common rocks into products sustaining entire civilizations, involving operations moving trillion-dollar fortunes through complex value chains. Everything begins with raw material extraction, where geology transforms into economic geography. A single limestone quarry can be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Mining operations costing tens of millions to establish can generate billions in revenues over decades. Mining companies move hundreds of billions annually just providing basic ingredients. Cement production represents where costs transform into exponential values. Cement factories costing billions to build can process millions of tons annually, generating revenues of tens of billions. Production technologies create cement so specialized it can be worth hundreds of dollars per ton compared to tens for common cement. Logistics and distribution multiply values through global networks. Transportation systems costing billions to establish move trillions in concrete value annually. Each concrete mixer truck represents thousands of dollars in product, multiplied by millions of daily deliveries globally. Construction market is where true value multiplication happens. Concrete costing hundreds of dollars per cubic meter transforms into structures worth thousands per square meter. Infrastructure projects can consume billions in concrete, creating structures worth trillions in total economic value. Hey everyone! Before we continue revealing how trillions are literally under your feet every day, we really want to know, from which city in Brazil or the world are you watching? Comment below. Your comment is fundamental for us to continue unveiling the secrets of trillion-dollar industries that literally sustain our civilization. Share this video with friends and family. I'm sure they never imagined the concrete around them sustains a trillion-dollar empire. And don't forget to subscribe to the Factory-Made channel so you don't miss any revelations about the trillion-dollar businesses literally under our feet. The concrete industry represents the most lucrative frontier of materials innovation, where seemingly simple technologies can be worth billions and completely redefine how trillions of dollars in infrastructure are created and commercialized. Nanotechnology applied to concrete created tens of billions of dollars in markets. Nanometric additives costing millions to develop create concretes with properties impossible in nature. Self-healing concrete, which literally cures its own cracks, commands exponentially superior prices and can revolutionize infrastructure maintenance. Smart concrete with integrated sensors revolutionize the industry, creating billions in annual markets. Structures costing millions additional to implement can monitor their own structural health, preventing collapses and generating billions in savings on preventive maintenance. Artificial intelligence in concrete formulation increased efficiency and profits exponentially. AI systems costing millions can optimize mixtures across dozens of variables simultaneously, reducing costs significantly. This represents billions additional in value extracted from the same raw materials. Advanced sustainability enables carbon-negative concrete. Technologies costing billions to develop can create concrete that absorbs more CO2 than it emits during production, creating premium products commanding multiple superior prices to conventional ones. 3D printing with concrete created billions in construction markets. Technologies costing millions can print entire structures, drastically reducing labor costs and enabling designs impossible with traditional methods, creating massive competitive advantages. In the concrete industry, where the difference between resistances can mean the difference between $1 million structure and $1 billion one, quality control isn't just important. It's the difference between profit and catastrophe in trillion-dollar markets. Each concrete batch undergoes hundreds of different tests, from compression resistance to durability. Testing equipment costing hundreds of thousands can detect minimal variations in quality. Small differences can alter a project's value from millions to billions of dollars in critical applications. International certifications cost millions to implement, but allow access to premium markets paying multiple superior amounts for certified concrete. Concrete certified for special applications can be worth several times more than conventional material, creating massive economic incentives for superior quality. Quality laboratories of leading companies cost tens of millions to build and operate. These laboratories test thousands of samples continuously, ensuring only concrete with exact specifications enters projects worth billions of dollars. Complete traceability from raw materials to final application costs tens of millions to implement, but is essential for critical projects. Structures for special applications require complete documentation of origin, process, and quality, commanding exponentially superior prices. Real-time monitoring systems are crucial for maintaining maximum quality. Sensors costing hundreds of thousands monitor curing and performance continuously, ensuring structures meet specifications in projects that don't tolerate failures. The concrete industry faces the fascinating challenge of being simultaneously essential for modern civilization and one of the largest consumers of natural resources, creating trillion-dollar opportunities in sustainability and circular economy. Green and sustainable concrete represents hundreds of billions of dollars in markets. Formulas implementing recycled materials cost millions to develop, but produce concrete commanding significant premium prices. Conscious projects invest billions additional in sustainable concrete. Concrete recycling created a tens of billions annual industry. Processes costing millions to develop can transform demolished structures back into high-quality aggregates. Premium recycled concrete can be worth multiples of conventional aggregate value, creating value from massive waste. Carbon capture technologies are creating billions in markets. Processes costing tens of millions to develop can make cement production carbon neutral or even negative, allowing access to premium markets requiring minimal environmental footprint. Certified energy efficiency can add significant percentages to concrete value. Certification programs costing millions to implement guarantee production with minimal environmental impact. meeting demands of builders moving hundreds of billions annually in green projects. Circular economy innovations can create tens of billions in markets. Systems implementing total reuse of byproducts not only reduce costs, but generate additional revenues from materials previously discarded, creating completely new business models. The concrete industry faces complex challenges costing billions to solve, but each innovative solution not only overcomes obstacles, it creates new trillion-dollar market opportunities. Raw material scarcity represents the biggest economic challenge. When quality aggregates become scarce, costs can explode exponentially. The solution was innovation in alternative concretes, creating products using abundant materials, recovering tens of billions in markets. Environmental regulations affect production and costs globally. Emission restrictions cost billions in adaptations. Massive investments in clean technologies not only solved regulatory problems, but created competitive advantages, generating additional revenues of billions annually. Energy price fluctuations create billion-dollar volatility. Development of energy efficiency and alternative sources costing hundreds of millions to implement stabilized costs, allowing planning of trillion-dollar investments in the chain. Competition from alternative materials led to massive innovation. Billion-dollar investments in research and development not only maintained competitiveness, but created superior concretes commanding premium prices, generating sustainable competitive advantages. Accelerated urbanization forced logistics reformulation. Billion-dollar investments in distribution systems not only met growing demand, but created efficiencies, significantly reducing costs, multiplying margins in trillion-dollar markets. Concrete permeates absolutely all aspects of modern civilization, creating value chains extending through trillions of dollars and making this simple mixture the foundation of practically all economic activity. Infrastructure represents the largest value market, moving hundreds of billions annually. Each kilometer of highway consumes thousands of cubic meters of concrete. Infrastructure projects can consume billions in concrete, creating structures facilitating trillions in economic activity over decades. Residential construction consumes tens of billions annually in concrete. Each modern house uses tons of concrete in foundations, structure, and finishes. Real estate markets moving trillions depend fundamentally on concrete to create housing value. Commercial and industrial construction moves hundreds of billions annually. Skyscrapers, shopping centers, and factories consume massive quantities of specialized concrete. A single commercial tower can use millions of dollars in concrete, creating spaces generating billions in economic activity. Special applications command extraordinary prices. Concrete for nuclear plants, oil platforms, or underwater structures can be worth thousands of dollars per cubic meter. Military and aerospace applications can pay exponential values for concrete with special specifications. Emerging markets represent explosive growth. Developing countries consume growing quantities of concrete for urbanization. China alone consumes more concrete annually than the rest of the world combined, creating hundreds of billions in markets. The future of the concrete industry promises transformations that can redefine how trillions of dollars in infrastructure are created, with innovations creating market opportunities that will completely transform our relationship with construction materials. Smart concrete with adaptive properties represents a hundreds of billions frontier. Materials that can change properties as needed, self-repair damage, or generate energy are being developed with billions in investments. Structures adapting to environment could be worth trillions. Advanced biotechnology will create concretes with biological properties. Research with hundreds of millions in investments is developing concretes that can grow, reproduce, or interact with living organisms. These innovations can create tens of billions in markets. Total sustainability can revolutionize the industry with hundreds of billions in opportunities. Concretes that sequester carbon, purify air, or generate energy not only meet environmental demands, but create massive additional revenues, transforming environmental costs into profits. 3D printing on urban scale can create trillion-dollar markets. Technologies enabling printing entire cities, using robotics and AI for automated construction, can transform construction from manual process to high-tech manufacturing. Space exploration will create the first extraterrestrial construction industry. Concrete produced with lunar or Martian materials can have unique properties, creating applications impossible on Earth. Initial investments of billions can create hundreds of billions in markets in the future. We've reached the end of an extraordinary journey through one of the planet's most fundamental and trillion-dollar industries. A $2 trillion empire that literally sustains our civilization and hides under our feet every day. From sand and stones costing cents per kilo to structures worth billions of dollars, every aspect of this industry represents not only advanced engineering, but an economic machine transforming basic resources into foundations of modern society. We've seen how an industry beginning with Roman builders transformed into a trillion-dollar operation consuming more resources than any other human activity. How corporations build tens of billions selling mixed stones, and how a single cement factory can generate hundreds of millions annually. The economic complexity of this industry is impressive, from raw materials worth dollars per ton to final projects worth millions per structure. Each stage of the chain multiplies value exponentially. This is an industry where basic resources and advanced technology meet to create the physical foundation of all economic activity. The future promises to be even more spectacular, with smart concrete, biotechnology, and total sustainability creating hundreds of billions in opportunities. This isn't just the story of how stones become structures. It's the revelation of how basic materials, when combined with human innovation, can create one of the world's most valuable and essential industries. Wow! What an incredible revelation we just made together about this trillion-dollar empire you literally step on every day. Now we really want to know, which discovery impressed you most? The 2 trillion moved annually? The fact that China consumes more concrete in 3 years than the USA in a century? Or perhaps the trillion-dollar prospects of smart concrete? Comment below with your impressions and, especially, from which city in Brazil you're watching. It's fascinating to discover our factory-made community spreads throughout the country, united by curiosity about trillion-dollar empires literally under our feet. If this video opened your eyes to the fortunes hidden in structures around you, share it with friends and family. I bet they never imagined the concrete around them sustains a trillion-dollar industry and represents the foundation of our entire civilization. And don't forget to subscribe to the Factory Made channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any revelations about industries transforming basic resources into fortunes. What other simple materials would you like to see unveiled here on the channel? Special thanks to the world's leading cement and concrete companies, structural engineers, materials research institutes, and civil construction analysts who, through public reports and available documentaries, made it possible to unveil the trillion-dollar secrets behind this industry sustaining our civilization. We also thank the scientists, engineers, and innovators whose meticulous work allowed us to present precise numbers about this $2 trillion economic machine processing billions of tons of materials and transforming them into structures defining our world. And of course, our biggest thanks go to you, our incredible factory-made audience who dedicate your time to discover with us the secrets of industries transforming basic resources into trillion-dollar fortunes. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep discovering with us the hidden treasures shaping our world. Until the next factory-made episode, where more revelations about hidden fortunes await you. The next time you walk on a sidewalk, enter a building, or pass by a bridge, remember, you're interacting with one of humanity's oldest and most trillion-dollar industries. Each concrete structure represents billions in innovation, trillions in economic value, and proof that sometimes the greatest fortunes are literally under our feet.